Hey now, and welcome down to KCToyreviews. We are here today with Firefly by ThreeZero. Now this is a very exciting review because this is the fourth G.I.Joe figure by ThreeZero, and dare I say, probably one of the best of the group. And if you are at all curious why, well, let's go ahead, hold each other's hands, fine comb some of those details, and dive right the hell goddamn in. All right, so here we are with Firefly by ThreeZero. Now, one thing I'm going to say immediately that I am crossing my fingers, this is not the last of the G.I. Joe figures by ThreeZero. There are no more announcements. 4 kind of rounds out that number of perhaps the set that they were putting out. So again, we're going to say it one last time, crossing my fingers that Firefly is not the last of the G.I. Joe by ThreeZero that we see. And it is a great segue, and because the reason I had said that is this is one badass figure. One thing I am going to note immediately is the arm piece here, and the reason being is because oddly, underneath the cloth on the exclusive version of Storm Shadow was seamless arms. It was a very odd choice because there was cloth over it. There was no reason to have seamless on that. However, the biggest downfall of it was the articulation. Seamless arms have kind of this spring back feeling once you get to the 90-degree angle on it, but extremely happy to report we have double jointed elbows on this figure, no seamless arms, and I think he's packed with a bunch of accessories and this big armband, so it's not going to have this superb, insane bend. But due to the cloth overlay and a normal double jointed elbow underneath, there is no fear of damage in this figure. You can basically pose and bend the elbows however you want. Obviously, to a certain degree, you're going to push it too much, you're going to snap it. But what I mean is you can put it in this bend just as you see here, and you can leave it like that without fear of damage in this whatsoever. Now, there's a few things we can note right away in this one shot. Accessory-wise, we do have this little knife, so if you want to sheath that, you can pull that out. You can push it back in. The goggles on his head are totally removable as well, so you can put them here. You can kind of shift them and put them on the top of his head if you like that look, or you can completely remove them and go for this pure ninja look. Now, as we start to zoom into the head sculpt, not only do I think it does look fantastic, we have a nice menacing look to Firefly. They did a good job. The eyes look good. Again, that hood ninja mask looks amazing. If we want, we could take these goggles off. And I did think what was really nice is this little sweater knit look underneath here. It was a nice contrast. But as you can see, it just has this nice flow from the sculpted head to this nice warm sweater around his neck. And then this beautifully tailored camouflage suit that's around the body here. Just the overall look is amazing, and as we can see, articulation on the head is pretty awesome. You can push it back and forth. Boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom. Yeah, boom, chicka boom, 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 chicka boom. Anyways, I'll stop with the boom, chicka boom. But yeah, awesome articulation on the headpiece there. As I mentioned, and there's really nothing around there to hinder the articulation, so zero complaints there. Now we do have this awesome backpack. I'm not sure why. I guess everybody loves extra stuff, but there's just this swap out piece that you can put in there. It's obviously pretty easy to put it back and forth like that. I think they should have put a magnet system because this one's a little bit loose on mine because you can see how easy that thing comes out. But it does give you some cool choice as far as kind of this communications back look or the explosive backpack there. And as we make our way down, one thing to note, all these little grenades here are actually removable. So you actually plug them in just like that. And if you want, I don't know why, you can plug the pin piece back in. It's just a weird system to do that. If you do want those as solo accessories, as you can see, you can't put those back together. And then you just pull that little pin out. And then plug it back in there. Simple as that. Now, as you can see, you do have 4 of those that come around downtown, right around downtown, come around downtown right now. That do come with 4 individual pins if you want those as separate grenades. And then on top of that, there was 3 extra ones, so he just had a crap load of grenades. And just a quick little side note, the little detonators on the side are completely magnet, so those are super easy to put on and off. I like that little touch that they had here. In fact, I wish there was more magnetic systems throughout here to really capitalize on the ease of putting all the accessories that Firefly came with. And lastly, just so everybody knows, the knee guards do shift around, so it does make the posability and the articulation a little bit easier because those shift around there instead of being sculpted on. Oh, the grenades are falling off everywhere. They're rolling around, come around downtown, those grenades everywhere now. And then something I hear all the time now is the split cut at the bottom. So again, the ankles articulation down here, superb. And when you pair that with double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, I mean, overall, the articulation and posability on this guy is absolutely amazing. And of course, briefly note the awesome Cobra Commander symbol on his shoulder pad there. All of the bandoliers, the belts, everything kind of around his arms and his elbows, and all the ammo packs are 100% sculpted. They're just plastic pieces. Now, I will note that I did have one of the pieces of the bandolier actually snap on the back. I had to glue that back in, so there is a slight downfall to having them be 100% stiff, sculpted pieces that are around him. Now, if you take a couple steps back, the untrained eye, as far as looking at it, the way it flows and looks on him, it obviously doesn't look bad whatsoever. As you can see, it's just this very simple black painted look. I mean, dare I say, it almost looks identical to the way they looked when I was a kid. There's not too much detail, and it's almost a little bit perplexing because on his arm piece here, his gun, the little canister accessories that came with it, there's just slight weathering and detail throughout everything. So it's a little strange that they didn't add a little bit more depth and detail to the bandolier itself. But with all that said, it's a very minor gripe. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time here, but just wanted to quickly note, this is basically what you get as far as accessories, and I just need to say it again, ThreeZero. Not including a 1/6 scale stand with your figures is just an atrocity. I would say that Firefly is actually a little bit of a balancing act due to the heaviness of his backpack. So that part's a little bit disappointing, but I'm not going to harp on it too much because I'm too excited about the figure. But again, you have this little turtle ooze looking canister here. We have the dynamite over here. And overall, the accessories are awesome. The ooze canister has a little bit more detail, the paint application, a little bit more weathering on it. As you can see, the dynamite just a little bit more simple looking, but we're getting very granular because these are just tiny accessories. Well, just take a look at it. There we have it. The 4 ThreeZero G.I. Joe releases that are currently on the market. Now, of course, there are a couple different variations of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes, but as far as character goes, these are the only 4 releases that we have so far. They do pair nicely with the Sideshow 1/6 scale G.I. Joe that came out years and years ago. And of course, as I mentioned briefly in the beginning of this video, I am crossing my fingers. ThreeZero does not stop here. I would probably crap my pants if they came out with a Cobra Commander or Destro. Any release that they come out with in the G.I. Joe line, I know will be amazing and I will buy it 100%. I mean, Roadblock impressed me. He exceeded my expectations. He was better than all the promo pictures. Of course, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow as their first releases were amazing, but I really need to stress that Firefly is well-rounded and probably one of the best of the bunch. Articulation, his weapons, the overall look, he is absolutely amazing, and he is definitely now my favorite G.I. Joe ThreeZero figure. And there we have it. Firefly by ThreeZero, another standout piece from their G.I. Joe 1/6 scale collection. Of course, this being the 4th in line after Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes, and Roadblock that we can now put together on our shelves with some incredible posability options. And I know I'm beating a dead horse when I say this, but please, ThreeZero, continue this G.I. Joe line. It's incredible, and I will be the first in line to support every figure you put out. And of course, Firefly at hand is probably one of the best of the 4 figures that they have out now. Posability-wise, contrast-wise, the way he looks, the accessories, and just that absolute nostalgic feeling when you, even just hearing the name Firefly brings back childhood memories for me. I will never forget the old school G.I. Joe rubber band type figures. Talk about posability and articulation. Those old school ball joint rubber band figures were incredible. So being able to put these on my shelf as an adult reminded me of my amazing childhood. Just makes me respect this piece that much more. And overall, there wasn't too much wrong with this. I just think the bandolier lacked a little bit of detail, and I did have a piece of it snap on his back when I was putting on the backpack initially. But I like the magnet system on the leg. He has a good amount of accessories. The guns have great detail to them. The goggles look badass. I mean, it's hard to not pose him with the goggles. Yes, you can take them off. Yes, you can put them on. They're a small accessory, but they highlight this character. So with all that said, I think it's a great time to start to round this out and slap a score on this guy. And well, honing in on that amazing Cobra Commander logo on his shoulder, it's hard not to be biased on this because I love G.I. Joe. I remember the amazing vehicles, the awesome characters, and who can forget that classic song that's running through my head as this guy is spinning in front of me. G.I. Joe, the real American hero. Whoops, sorry, I'll stop that. That was horrible. I probably made everybody's ears bleed. But anyways, this is a great figure, and there's truly not too much wrong. So as far as a score, what's coming to mind is an 8.9 out of 10. This is a really bad-ass piece. And maybe the piece that snapped on mine was just a fluke, and the overall observation is this piece looks fantastic and badass. Firefly is an explosives expert. ThreeZero has done an amazing job tying this all together. So with an 8.9 out of 10, a fantastic price point, I highly suggest this piece, and I'm going to say my prayers tonight that ThreeZero continues this line. So that's going to be it here for us today at KC Toys with Firefly by ThreeZero. Catch you guys next time, and I might go watch a little G.I. Joe tonight. Completely irrelevant, and you might not care. Just wanted to say it anyways. See you guys next time.